Today I'll be taking a look at Coup, the Dystopian Universe, a game by Indie Boards and Cards for 2 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, although I think it works better with 3 or more players. It's a very simple game, real quick to play. It says 15 minutes, but really, I've had a couple of games go even quicker than that, so we'll do the setup. I'll show a 3-player scenario. Each player is dealt 2 cards, and then the rest of the deck is put in a central location. Was put, you know what? We'll do this. Put it right there. And they're given 2 coins. The goal is to earn coins and use the coins to assassinate your opponent's characters, which are actually called influences. Not influencers. These are influencers. These are influences. So the order of play is very simple. You take an action, the action has an effect, and an opponent can counter it. They can also challenge you. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'll show the actions real quick. Income is take a coin, just from the coin bucket there. Foreign aid is take 2 coins. Now you're going to say, why would you ever take 1 instead of 2? And it's because the foreign aid can be countered, the income cannot. There's a coup, which is where you pay 7 coins to assassinate a player's influence. And then each player has their own ability as well. Duke can take 3 coins from the coin pool. The assassin can assassinate if they pay 3 coins to do it. Exchange will let you exchange your influence cards for 2 new ones. And the captain can steal 2 coins from another player. The interesting part is you don't have to have that card in your hand. You can lie. So I don't have Duke, for example, but during my turn I could do Duke's action and take 3 coins. Another player could challenge me if they didn't think I had Duke, and we'll go over challenges in a minute, but first let's look at the counter actions. So after you take an action, another player can do an influence's ability and block, or basically counter it or block it. So let's say I pay 3 coins and say assassinate. A character, another player could say they have Contessa in their hand and block the assassination. Well, this player doesn't have it in their hand either. So when I say they can have the character in their hand, the influencer in their hand, it's basically another bluff game. So let's say I don't have Duke, which I don't, and I take Duke's action. Duke's action on my turn, I would get 3 coins. Player 2 could say, I don't think you have Duke, I'll challenge it. So now it's up to me. This is how challenges work. If I have Duke in my hand, I would show that I do, and I would win the challenge. If I don't have Duke in my hand, or choose not to show Duke, I would lose the challenge. So the winner of the challenge, well, it depends. If you lose the challenge, you have to sacrifice an influence. So like in this case, I did Duke's action, I got challenged, I don't have Duke. I would pick one of my characters and I would lose them. And when you lose them, you simply turn them face up and you can no longer use them. We turn them face up because each deck only has 3 of each player, so that way everyone knows that there is one, in this case Contessa, who's no longer in use. When both of your influencers are used up, you lose, and it goes until only 1 player is left. Let's say I did have Duke in my hand and showed it, then the player who challenged me would lose, and they would have to sacrifice a player, and they could pick either one. They actually have Duke, so then they would turn theirs over and no longer have that influencer at their disposal. And then if I had Duke and showed it, I would just discard it, reshuffle, and draw a new one so that my card is always hidden. And you can challenge counteractions the same way. So if I say do an assassination and someone says they have Contessa, blocks my assassination, I could challenge it and say, I don't believe you have Contessa, let's say it was to player 3, they don't, so then they would have to discard one of their influences. And there's a rule I was wrong about when I was playing. If a challenge is blocked, let's see, if an action is successfully challenged, the entire action fails and any coins paid as the cost of the action are returned. So if I pay 3 coins to assassinate somebody and they block the assassination, the attempt fails and I still get the coins back. So that's the gist of it. I will go through a couple of sample hands just for fun. We'll deal new cards. Just takes a second to deal. So, okay, every player has 2 influences and 2 coins. We'll start player 1 over here. You go counterclockwise. There is a 2-player variant, and the only rule difference is that whoever goes first starts with only 1 coin instead of 2. So, as player 1, I've got the captain and the assassin. The captain's ability is to steal, but I don't want to give away that I have the captain, so what I'm going to do is instead do foreign-aid and take 2. So a player with the Duke could try to block my foreign-aid, and let's just see what the other players have. They do not have Duke, and player 3 does have Duke. So I think player 3 is going to say, I have Duke, I'm going to block your foreign-aid. And I'm not going to challenge it, so I don't get the 2. Now it's player 2's turn. Player 2 has the ambassador, could switch their cards, and Contessa, which could block an assassin. Doesn't want to do any of those. Player 2's going to do the foreign-aid also, which means take 2 coins. And player 3 is again going to challenge it. And player 2 says, you know what, I don't think you really have Duke. So player 2 challenges player 3. Player 3 says, oh, but I do have Duke. So player 3 would reveal Duke. Player 2 would lose the challenge, so player 2 would have to discard a card. Well, I think the ambassador is pretty worthless, so player 2 would say, okay, fine, I lose. There's the ambassador. Player 3 then takes Duke, shuffles Duke into the deck, and draws a new card. And that new card is the ambassador. So now it's player 3's turn. Player 3 is just going to do a single income, since player 3 may have angered player 2 and doesn't want to cause any problems. Do one more sample hand and then call it quits. I will try, oh, I don't have 3. Never mind, I was going to try and assassinate. So player 1, I'm just going to take an income. I don't want to cause any problems, and that's that. Player 2 now can only block an assassin, but doesn't want to be out of the game. So player 2 is actually going to bluff and say he has an assassin, which player 2 does not, but pay the 3 and say, I'm going to assassinate right here. So now player 3 can decide to block or challenge, but instead player 3 is going to say, okay, you just assassinated the ambassador. So as you see, player 2 actually did not have the assassin, but bluffed, and player 3 didn't think to call the bluff. So that's that for their turn. And then player 3 does have the assassin. So player 3 says, hey, I'm going to assassinate your character now. And player 2 can say, I can block assassination with Contessa. So player 3 sacrifices or spends their coins to do the assassination. And then player 2 is able to block it with Contessa. Says, hey, I'm blocking you. Player 3 says, I don't think you really have Contessa. So player 2 would say, oh, but I do. So the challenge was lost. Player 3 lost the challenge, so they have to sacrifice a card. They did have the assassin, but it was blocked. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, they have to reveal it because they challenged, and they lost the challenge, so then player 2 would be out of the game. And player 2 then would draw a new card, and then it'd be player 1's turn, and we just go back and forth until player 1 dies. So see, it is a pretty quick game. There is some strategy. I'm not a huge fan of the bluffing games, but it does add a whole new level of play that you can do any of these abilities whether you have that character or not. And then if you're really paying attention to what people have and what kind of moves they make, you might be able to tell better if they're blocking. And I kind of like that you can bluff the action for either the action or the counter action, and it can be challenged both ways. So it does add some kind of strategy like that. The other card of this is just larger descriptions of the actions. But that's it for the game. I think it's great with 3 players. It'd probably be a lot better with more, but I haven't tried it with more than 3. It could go up to 6. I think 6 could be a lot of fun actually, but that's just speculation. It is a fun, quick game. Takes 0 to set up, 0 to play, 0 to put away. So it's a nice, fast party game if you're into that type of thing. And that's it for Coup. And I wonder how many times I said Coup in this video. I probably did at least once because that silent P gets me every time. But that's it for this video. I'll be back soon with another. But until then, if you'd like to support the channel, you can subscribe, you can like this video, and you can visit tabletopjason.com for links to this and all the games I have here. And if you'd like to see the card game I designed, check out 52dragons.com, where you can buy the game, see sample cards, or sign up for Patreon to receive new and exclusive cards each and every month. I'll be back with another video soon, so thanks for watching.